when I first started, I was doing LinkedIn and TikTok. As I got the videos better, I did TikTok and I tried Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts for a long time, but I was just seeing way more traction on LinkedIn. And so I just told myself I can spend more time on LinkedIn and see much more traction, which sucks also because now I'm pigeonholed and I'll repurpose sometimes to TikTok, but it's really just all LinkedIn for me because I see more value from it right now. Exit.
Tim, it's funny to see you on the actual video. When I see that background and you have that shirt and the background on, I'm like, I think I'm watching one of your videos. That must be annoying though. Everybody says that. People say it to me, like, I feel like I know you from the podcast. When you put yourself out there like that, everyone feels like they already know you before they hang out with you.
Well, I actually kind of like it. Especially when you go to like the events or something and someone sees you and they feel like I feel like the conversation just goes better because they think they know you, which is fair. And hopefully they do know me or they feel like they know me as long as I'm just like the right person doing the right thing.
Well, I think that's what's cool about video as a channel too. I think you can hear somebody's voice and see their mannerisms a little bit, and it's a little bit different. I often will meet with people and they're like, you're so much different. You're way nicer and different than I think that you come across on like the way you write on LinkedIn sometimes. I'm like, really?
Oh yeah. And then that's the more interesting part is like when you only see people because of the profile picture and it's maybe like an older profile picture and then you actually see them and it's like this awkward, like,
right.
Oh, I do know you, but I didn't recognize the face.
Yeah. I used to be 6'4" and like insanely jacked, and now I'm just a little old man.
I don't know. Your arms look pretty big.
Thank you. You know, it's like I got
the angles, at least the shadows and the angles look good.
That's why. I mean, that's half of the game. We hired here. You know, I hired people into the company. I got more time for arms, and it's obviously showing. Speaking of arms, you're the one who went. You're the crazy guy who went to a trade show, and this is the ultimate. Like that's this great front delts. Is that what that is? Is you standing there holding that sign for forever? Where was that? Dreamforce?
I've done it probably like 8 events, but yeah, Dreamforce, Saster, all of them. My records, I think my record now is 4 minutes, and I have a video on it. I just can't remember exactly what it was, but 4 minutes 37 seconds holding it up.
It's pretty good. All right, I want to talk about your content, you and creating content, but first, just backstory. I think a lot of people that will listen to this podcast will feel like they've seen your content on LinkedIn, but many people maybe beyond the surface level don't know who you are. So share your story a little bit, who you are, what you've done for work, and what your experience in B2B marketing has been to date. Little career rewind.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually went to school for zoology. That never worked out because I failed at biology, but I came back to marketing. Still wanted to be a hyena trainer, but ended up just training people to buy things, which is kind of cool. But I currently am the founder.
Hold on. The podcast hosted me is not going to let you just gloss over that. Yeah, I was I was a zoologist and I was training hyenas anyway. So I got into marketing. Like, excuse me, what? I'm sorry, sir.
Well, that was my goal. I wanted to be a hyena trainer because I saw it at the zoo. I saw the trainers just training the hyenas. I just thought it was the coolest thing. I'm a big nature love kind of animal thing. And first day of college, I was going to be a zoologist.
And it was hyenas specifically. Is a hyena a cat? Is it a feline? No, I'm trying to think about what family is this? Is a hyena in?
I don't technically know, but I'm assuming they're more in it might be like a mix of a dog cat.
All right. So what I'm saying is like it had to have been a hyena, or like were there any species of large cats that you would have been happy to train?
Any species. I think dolphin was the next step, just because I grew up loving dolphins. And I've swam with dolphins before and I just loved it. So like all those things made me want to be like a trainer.
Sure.
But I just failed out of biology. So I went to the easiest course, which was business and marketing.
Oh, wow. I feel so good about myself.
Well, I ended up loving it, which is good. But right now I work at a company called, I started a company called B2B Riz. It's a ABM with LinkedIn ads consulting firm, basically. It's just me. I'm just trying to do great work. But my background for the last 4 years, I worked at a company called Directive, which is a performance marketing agency. And it's for B2B SaaS. And I started off on the client side, but grew into only being marketing for the marketing agency. And we grew from 30 employees when I started to 160. And throughout that, loved it, learned a lot, went to events, held signs, cut fruit, interviewed people. It was really amazing. But I saw a little gap in there's that trend too. A lot of the good, and I say good marketers, just a lot of the marketers that were in house, either they get let go or they're just kind of moving on and being, working with companies on solo. I thought that I loved that trend and I saw an opportunity and I took it.
All right, I got a bunch of things to go back there on. First, just more broadly, were there things about you? You were going to study biology and zoology, but are there things about you as Tim that you see now that are embedded traits of what might make you good at marketing, or did you go and learn something? Because like I found out about myself over the years, I'm like, oh yeah, I was just kind of into writing and storytelling and did a bunch of public speaking and would always be the person somebody would ask to like help my college roommate. Like, hey, can you look at this? I know I tweaked the headline. And I see that now and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of what I do today. And I can see the threads. But for some people, it's like, no, I just got into marketing. Like for me, it was like, oh, I got into it because I sucked at everything else and I didn't have a job and I found a PR internship at a time when I was broke and I just kind of went that path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, the real reason was because it was the easier course and I played sports in college and I just needed something that was fast and easy, right? Just so I didn't fail out. But I will say I did love psychology and I loved kind of the meaning behind, why someone does something. And I think that has played a part in my background and, even the successes I've had because I always like to think a little bit differently. And I think that kind of plays into psychology at some point.
But like, where does your creativity come from? You obviously you got to be into like writing and scripting and somewhere in your history.
I would, it's actually a hard question for me because I would say I kind of grew up like that. I always had like a creative, mind. I would also say though, I try to give myself a lot of time to be creative. And I've just learned over the years what, makes me kind of come up with these ideas or lets me have more freedom to do things that it might be creative. And then obviously just over the last few years as I've seen the creativity kind of work, then I just went all in on it and I just tried more outlandish things or different things than everyone else is doing and it just worked, so I just gonna keep going.
And was there a point in time like when you started creating content on LinkedIn, for example, were you like, I'm going to try? At some point, you must have had this idea to try your first video.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I do. So before I started videos, I was doing a lot of text posts pretty consistently for about 6 to 8 months, and I was just running out of ideas on things to do, and I just saw like a plateau. And then the video part came from because this was kind of the TikTok was already here, but a lot of people are. I just started getting obsessed with TikToks and just watching, observing what I was actually watching. And I was like, oh, this. I feel like I could do this. It didn't look
Like
smart.
do this, meaning like make that style of video about a topic.
100%. Like I feel like I could do this. And
Sure.
don't get me wrong, the first 20 videos sucked. They were terrible.
And wait, did you have any video editing experience? Like, did you film entirely on your phone and figure it out? Where were you on the video side of spectrum?
I used in 2014. I had a GoPro, so I tried video editing, but I didn't do anything since then. I didn't have like any experience. I just went. I went on YouTube, looked up how to use CapCut, which is the app I use, and just kind of went down the rabbit hole from there.
So did you pick that app to do this with on purpose?
I just picked an app. It wasn't like purposely just because I've heard of it. It was more like that was the first app I saw, and it was free.
And is this for editing videos on your phone?
You can use it for the desktop too, but I do a lot of my editing on the phone. That's my camera. Like I bought an extra phone for my camera.
I love that. I'm trying to unpack that because I like to hear. I just think people miss I don't know if misrate is the word, but like you just got to kind of just like, not to be like overly Gary V on you, but like you kind of just have to start. And that is the thing that people just miss. It's like, man, I still make this mistake now. I'm like, we're working on new things for Exit 5, and I had this other idea, and I was trying to make it like too perfect and thinking about what the finished thing. I was like, you know what? I need to just do like a little bit of this like every day and like don't really care. And I follow this guy on Instagram. His name is Colin Landforce, and he talks about like golf brands, and he's very into like consumer products, and he's always breaking down brands and everything. And he found this one this one TikTok like creator. This person like made interesting like looking bags out of leather and stuff, and like he scrolled all the way back to the beginning of this guy's page, and he's like, 3 months ago, this guy was literally making like the shitty videos that you and I make.
Mhm.
And I think about that all the time. I'm like, at some point you just do enough of these and like that one thing hits, and then you build. And now you've been doing it for so long, like you're better. You know how to use the tools better. It's like, I've been having a podcast for 10 years. I know how to use the tools a little bit now. And I think we just underrate that in so many examples. But you must have gotten into it without any expectations then. So you seem like you're just like, fuck it, I'm just going to start doing this and don't care where it goes.
I wouldn't say I said fuck it. The first video I created, I edited it as much as I could. I spent tons of time on it. I sat on it for about 10 days before posting.
Oh, so you're the opposite of me. You didn't say fuck it. You're like, I can't possibly post it. What was your thought? Were you worried about it?
Yeah, 100%. I was worried about what people would say. I only did text posts before that. I maybe put a picture out or here and there. I was just.
And do you remember what was the first video, just for context?
It was a skit. So I was doing characters. So me and someone else, and it was around Christmas time. And I think the video was something like that friend that always needs leads or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I gave a gift box that had a lock on it, and it was a gated lead. It was such a silly thing.
Yeah, no, I get it though, because you're like, it's like if people have only seen the text post, basically you're like all of a sudden now performing, and you're like, whoa, I didn't know he could do an impression, and like I didn't know that. It's like I had contacts my whole life, and one day I didn't have my contacts and I had to wear my glasses to the office, and everyone was like, whoa, I didn't know you wore glasses. It's like, all right, get over it. Like, you know, when you post that first video, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now Tim's like this video guy. What does he think, he's acting or something? And I get that.
Yeah. But and then the beauty was, you know, I knew some people from LinkedIn, so all the comments were good because they were just nice people.
You know, right? Go. That's because that's because you didn't post it to Twitter first. If you went Twitter here first, you would have been toast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. Or TikTok. TikTok will rip you apart.
So did you make a decision to just focus on LinkedIn? Like, I want to make these videos, but I don't want to be in the TikTok world.
Yeah. So when I first started, I was doing LinkedIn and TikTok. As I got the videos better, I was like, I'll do a LinkedIn and TikTok.
It's a cat's butt in this video right now.
It's so perfect. And I did TikTok, and I tried Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts for a long time, but I was just seeing way more traction on LinkedIn. And so I just told myself, I can spend more time on LinkedIn and see much more traction, which sucks also because now I'm pigeonholed, and I'll repurpose sometimes to TikTok, but it's really just all LinkedIn for me because I see more value from it right now.
I know that's how it is for me. I could spend all these times on any other channel, but like when I do anything on LinkedIn, it works more. Exactly. What's your thought? What's your opinion of Twitter? I recently am trying to go back in on the game, so I'm curious to hear what your opinion is.
It's one of those things where I would love to. It's just I can either spend more time on LinkedIn. If I was going to spend more time on anything else, it would be YouTube, because I still think I need to get there. It's just been on my to do. Like I have a post-it note about it.
You've made 1,000 videos. You have a post-it on your desk that says YouTube.
Well, I have. It's just the problem with YouTube is the YouTube Shorts is 1 minute. All my LinkedIn videos are like minute and a half. Too. And then the longer videos, you need like a different setup. So it's like,
so it's not, the issue is not, it's not a repurposing issue. It's like, if you want to go do YouTube, you got to shoot new content for it.
100%.
Yeah. And do you, is this your lane? Like, tell me about now. So now you've been making videos for a while. How do you figure out how often to make videos? Do you have a goal? Take me into the process and what you're doing weekly. I'm interested.
I'm not as you know, detail oriented as that. I don't have like a schedule, I guess.
Such a creative, such a
Yeah,
creative. I don't know. I don't have a schedule. It just, when ideas come, you get a video, Dave.
I mean, pretty much. Well, not really. I mean, I try to do as many as possible. It just depends on
Right.
how much time and what I'm doing.
But does something drive it? Like now that you have your own business, is it going to be you? Like, do you see like, yeah, I want to build a bigger audience on LinkedIn because it helps my business? Or is it just like truly it's fun to do? And if I happen to think of a video this month, I'll make one.
It is fun to do. They also, from my experience, they perform better than text for me now. And so I will default to video, whether that's about something about my business or I don't talk about like a lot of different things. It's pretty pigeonholed, but
You either have a video or like some rant about something on text.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, like how much, and I don't know if business value is the right word, but like, is it worth you like not writing anything for 2 weeks on LinkedIn, but using that 2 weeks to make an awesome next video and just posting that video? Is that better than if you were posting something every day for 2 weeks?
I actually don't think so. I think there is I actually feel like there's a lot of value in posting more consistently. Luckily, my videos don't take 2 weeks, so I don't have to worry about that. They maybe take now. They maybe take an hour, hour and a half.
So you kind of have you're trying to go for the best of both worlds. You're like trying to make good content and post frequently.
100%. Yeah. I mean, actually, I've found my best kind of frequency is twice a day. Now that's hard
I know.
with videos and text, but that would be my best kind of frequency if I can get to that.
What common mistakes do you see people that want to focus on LinkedIn as a content platform, whether to help their company grow, to they have a consulting practice, or they're a freelance designer or marketer? What mistakes do you see a lot of people that don't actually get traction?
I think it's all the classic ones. One, not starting. I mean, if you don't start, you're screwed. Uh, I think there's also just, and I don't know how to like frame this, but there's some people that are better at seeing what works and what's not and kind of adapting than others. I feel like there is some people that will just post every single day and they just don't adapt as well as some others or try something new and it just kind of gets the same kind of traction, which is not much.
Well, how important is like having a niche or having a topic though in that? Because I think I've even noticed this in myself. Like I started for basically like I grew all my social grew when I kind of just talked about marketing and specifically B2B marketing. Now, as Dave, as a human with a brain and feelings, I'm so much more than that. However, that doesn't work to drive traffic and build growth online for whatever reason. And so I have to like, I found myself like when I just used social for fun and was just talking about, here's what I'm doing. And I did this thing and here's a work thing. It doesn't work. Now that I'm kind of like focusing exclusively on Exit 5 and B2B marketing as the content, the social stuff has been growing very fast again. And I think there's a lesson in there. Like I've seen somebody like if you look at like a Justin Welsh, he blew up in the last year or two. He didn't really talk about 15 different topics. All he did was talk about solopreneurship. Here's how to build this. Here's how to quit your job. Here's blah, blah, railing against, throwing rocks at the company side. And I think that works well. Do you think if you just made stuff about all industries, like how much of your focus on B2B marketing has been intentional as a strategy here?
No, to your point, it's been mine especially has been very intentional. I also think, yes, you do need to niche in. Now, don't get me wrong. Like for just an example for me, I talk about B2B marketing. I talk about probably very specific things, but it's more than just one topic. I could just talk about LinkedIn ads all day and ABM all day, but I also talk about the B2B buying process because I also think that plays into, further funnel of your LinkedIn ads and ABM. I also talk about B2B events because I find those very interesting. That's a part of ABM. So you
But do you find yourself like when you go to create content, you have like I'm like Tim thinking about B2B stuff. You're not just like randomly posting personal anecdotes on LinkedIn.
yeah, it's always for me. It always starts with B2B stuff. That said, I do like to sprinkle in personal stuff. An example of that, I just made a video where I made a crib while talking about ABM.
Sorry, I hit this intro outro music in Zencaster. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't know it was
That,
gonna.
that was actually kind of sick. Let me do that again. And it has drums. Oh, I could have used that one earlier. Anyway, so you were putting together a crib?
I was putting together a crib and talking about ABM at the same time. So I would just sprinkle in personal stuff.
Love that.
Like that.
Did you just get the crib for fun, or are you expecting a child?
Expecting a child.
Congratulations.
Not that.
First one? First one?
First one. Yep, in May.
It's awesome. Best thing that ever happened to me.
I'm very excited. Very, very excited.
Hands down. And I love that. It's a rite of passage putting that crib together, and only a true creator would also film that process.
Well, that's the funny thing is my wife was like, "Oh, I'll help you do that," and I was like, "No, I can.
No, I got this. I got it.
I got this. Oh, I got it. I'll do this right now.
Don't even worry about it."
I also get awkward if like someone's watching me do it. Dude, it just sounds so weird.
Do you follow that guy Nikki Cass? You know who that is?
I do, but I don't follow. I know who that is though.
He makes like videos of like he just does impressions, and he's pretending to be like an umpire, or he makes videos that's like he makes pizza sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
Or he'll be like NFL mic'd up videos be like, and he's out in his backyard and he's in his clothes and he's just like, he's dressed like a maniac and he's tackling these trash bags of leaves and everything. It's just like the life of a creator. You're like the other side of that, right?
It's so funny. And he's got like the neighbor that's watching sometimes, and he's got like,
and he'll make an impression of them. He's like, hey, Brenda, he's over there again, tackling the bags and stuff. And I just think of like, your wife is like, all right, Tim, just put that crib together. Let me know when it's done.
It's pretty much how it goes. Same with like fruit cutting or like anything. I have so many knives now. She's just like, all right, do your thing.
All right. And then wait, where did the fruit cutting? So the fruit cutting was like a later addition, right? I kind of, in my head at least, I saw you as this guy who's talking about B2B marketing, but he's doing this in a kind of fun TikTok-ish style. Then I think you created this like super niche of you started doing it while cutting fruit, which is like a genius creative like hook move. But where the heck did that come from?
Well, I think there's a theme here. I was actually running out of ideas with the skits too, because you can't really talk about a certain topic and kind of like when you have to like do a skit with it. And I hate talking head. It's just not for me. It never worked for me. Just talking head. And actually TikTok, I watched myself watching a couple things, people telling stories while they're cooking, unboxing videos and telling stories. And then someone was actually cutting in pineapple, but he's doing a voiceover. And so I tried all three. I tried the fruit cutting, cooking, and unboxing. Fruit cutting hit. I was like, all right, I can go with so many knives, so many different types of fruit. I've learned a lot about fruit since then. So many avenues there. So I went with it.
And then is that a less scripted video? Like, are you truly just ranting and cutting fruit, and then you're going to go edit that to be a little tighter later?
Pretty much. I always start with a topic, and there's maybe like bullet points.
It's kind of like a really good prompt, actually. So I was working with this guy the other day, and they were like, "Hey, we'll make a bunch of video clips of you. I'm going to interview. We'll make a bunch of video clips you can use for social." And I was like, yeah, I'm good on camera. I got this. And I was really bad at it. It was really hard. He'd ask me a question and he'd be like, but it was things like 3 hot takes about social media. And I'm like I'm really bad at coming up with things on the spot like that. Right. But there's something about that format, which is almost like going for a walk. And you're just like, all right, I'm just going to like talk about SEO while I make a salad, right? It's kind of like a genius little trick to get content out. And it happens to be fun to film and make for interesting watching.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, just as behind the scenes, there has been times where I'll be editing and be like, I got to add this in, and I'll get another piece of fruit and I'll get the same shirt on and I'll just start trying to cut. Sometimes it's not in order, but no one really notices, luckily.
So you have to go back and add that scene. You're not going to
Not
just
always. Sometimes I'm like, oh, this hook would have been way better. There's just like things like that I'll add in.
And then we talked a little bit about like what's the mistakes people make, but what do you see any mistakes with video? Like, can you just take a video, upload it to LinkedIn? How much does a thumbnail matter? That type of stuff. Are you noticing anything interesting there?
I do. I don't have I don't have real data on this. I always add a thumbnail, but it's basically just a title text for the first 2 seconds, and I feel like that's what I use as like the thumbnail for LinkedIn.
But is the thumbnail is like a picture, a screenshot of the video, and it has title on it, or it's separate and it's just the title?
So it's just whatever the video would be, and I just add a title, and mine are always green and it has like white text. And so it's not technically a thumbnail, but I think of it as the thumbnail. And then whatever is behind it is just the start of the video.
Right.
I feel like that works. When I've not done it, I don't think you get people to stop as much depending on your title.
Got it.
The first 2 seconds also matter, I've found.
I'm looking at one right now. Yeah, I got it.
You see like the green.
Yeah.
I've had people say like, now that I see the green, or even my what's it called, the background music, people are like, oh, that's Tim's video. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. Like I try to do more of those now where people associate me with a certain thing. And that's what I think of like the thumbnail.
Yeah. Nice. I'm just lost on your page now.
Then like first 2 seconds I found has mattered, like a cut, like getting people to like those cuts, like the first 2 seconds, and then you can.
Oh, so it's like an intentional, it's an intentional hook. Like you have the text. So this is, are we over chatbots for B2B yet? The first 2 seconds of the video, the screen starts with a green text, with a green background text with you behind it. Are we over chatbots for B2B yet? And then you catch an onion right out of the gate.
Yep.
I think that's an onion. That's some garlic.
Maybe garlic, yeah. Or pepper.
just trying to paint a picture for those listening at home.
You'll notice on that too, and this is so I think of it as a thumbnail, even though it's just part of the video. There's googly eyes on a pepper.
There is.
So there's things like that I try to sneak in there too that help, and people will comment on it, and that to me, I think that's a win.
Yeah, and this is being filmed on your iPhone.
All on the iPhone.
On the iPhone, and you got a Bluetooth like lav mic or something on your apron.
Yeah, it's a Hollyland. I think it was like $100 on Amazon. I've tried.
Shout out to Hollyland. Thank you.
Yeah, and Lollipop, because that's sponsor here.
It's Olipop, not Lollipop. Jeez, dude.
Shoot.
There goes the sponsorship.
You might get I don't even know a Lollipop brand, but maybe that's the brand. You might get a Lollipop.
Yeah. Also, shout out to I'm bald if you didn't know at home. Shout out to Imperial Hats. It's a great hat. Exit 5 hat. Thank you for that. So yeah, Olipop, if you're listening, or Lollipop,
both.
We'll take either one. This is cool. A little breakdown. I like those little nuggets make the videos. What is this guy talking about? Does he have googly eyes on a banana? All right. Yeah. And then what about, okay, so the thumbnail matters, but it's really the edit and the scripting matters. Like you got to have that hook, and that's true for all these platforms today.
Yeah, that's so important.
And does the hook have to be something you say, or is it like the fact that you caught this onion? Like, was that your hook for something like that?
It could be either. So it could be something you say. Because mine are naturally cutting fruit or something, like those have worked for me. Like if I have a pineapple and that's the first cut and it's like from an axe, that's a good hook, because that like, oh, okay, with the things like that. Step back. What's going on here?
And do you edit? Where do you edit?
The CapCut app. CapCut app. It's actually
it's an app.
But it's called CapCut. It's an app on the phone, also for desktop. And I just add it right on the phone.
It's an easy way to edit.
Mm-hmm.
CapCut. And then what they do? You can do captions and all your animations and everything in there.
Oh yeah, you can do everything. Captions. You can do like the captions that have like they have like animation captions. You can add the cuts on there. You can edit Foley. You can add in audio. You can add in what's it called, like transition stuff. It's got everything.
So I want to talk about you starting B2B Riz in a second, but while we're still talking about video, did you ever contemplate like creating a business in this space?
I no, I technically do in the sense of it's not really video, but I have like sponsorships, so it's part of the kind of income. But
Yeah, I mean like you've kind of cracked an interesting playbook and a lot of people are trying to figure out what works on social. Like you could have packaged that up and help other companies or people do something similar, I wonder.
yeah, it's never really crossed my mind, and I wonder if that's because I like doing it the way I do it, and I know that's not going to work for everyone, so I don't want to sell something like that.
Yeah.
I, I I just never really like. I'll help people, like I'll give tips where I can, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if my system would work for a lot of people.
Yeah, well, and it's so character driven. You have a vision for like this. It's got to be done in your personality.
That's the thing. The personality, I think, helps with it, and obviously, not everyone's going to have the same personality. So I don't know if I can. What I do would help with others. I think that the concepts work. It's just more of the nitty gritty stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's spend some time on ABM.
Ooh.
Also, is the Riz like slang? Is that slang for charisma?
It is.
Somebody told me that the other day. They said this has, as the kids say, the Riz, and then I just put that together that this is the Riz.
It is. I
I dig
think
it.
a lot of people just don't understand it, which is fine with me. But I also like the name.
They don't understand it. Does it? Oh, please. There are way worse names, and I don't know what they mean. Like,
Oh, true. I mean,
yeah.
that's yeah. I bought the domain like months ago, and
What did people want you to do? I'm starting my new ABM agency, growthimpact.io. Like, this is what better B2B Riz. There you go. And sorry to Growth Impact if you're offended by that.
.io though, that's always cool.
The IO always
Always
works
cool.
because you can't get a freaking domain. That's a real issue. There are no .coms left.
No, not even close.
Right. All right. So anyway, so you decide to go out on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You teach people. You do ABM consulting. What does that mean? What does ABM mean? What do you mostly help people do?
Yeah. So I've actually niched down into ABM with LinkedIn ads. And the reason I did that, because I don't think of ABM as the very targeted one-to-one. That can be it. That's fine. Or 100 account lists. I think of it as more just a more targeted approach to demand generation. And so, or marketing, it's pretty much the same thing. And so I run a lot of ABM campaigns and anything, however, with the 100 account list, with 10,000 accounts. And LinkedIn
Sure.
ads has always been the best place for the results and distribution. And so I decided to just go all in on it because you don't need an ABM platform for LinkedIn. And so I help people build out a strategy, execute on a strategy that's going to help them get more revenue and pipeline from target accounts. And the caveat there is the target account list does not have to be 100. It can be
Sure.
1,000.
Well, this is great. All right, so let's give people some. Let's talk about LinkedIn ads. Then people will enjoy this. So somebody, what's the first step? It's something. What like why LinkedIn, and then what would you consider advertising on LinkedIn?
So for why LinkedIn? Because at least in my opinion, is the best place for B2B ever. I mean, the things you can do on LinkedIn are crazy. You can
From an ad targeting standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about those in a second. But first, what is the typical like inventory that you're buying on LinkedIn? Is it sidebar, post feeds? I have no idea.
Yeah. So it's typically going to be within the feed, just like those ads you see when you're scrolling through your feed in LinkedIn, or the message ad one. I think that's also just a tactic that's been pretty successful over time too.
Like people DMing me, give me a $10 Domino's gift card if I get a demo of their software.
Yeah, I'm just not sure Domino's is the best offer there, but yeah, it's that message type of message.
All right. And then, okay, then let's go back to targeting. Yeah, what's possible from a targeting standpoint?
I mean, you can go as narrow as typing in the exact company that you want to target, and target down to the titles, the departments, the interests. You can get really, really granular, in all through LinkedIn. No third party needed, which is the craziest thing.
That is amazing. And just to like slim down all the tool, like to just have one place to
Yeah.
focus. What offer works, or what offers or approach works best here? Because okay, this is great. I can show ads to this one account that I want to sell to, but like what do I do? Do I show them a blog post? Do I make them download some content? Do I just say call me now? What works?
Yeah. So it obviously depends, but you almost want all of it, right? Because depending on where they are in their stage, you don't typically know. But if they are obviously in your sales cycle, you'll know. But if it's just like an account that you don't know if they are interested or not, you want to have some education. So that could be through a blog post, and you're just kind of giving that information through the actual post, and so they don't even have to go to the page, or they do go to the page. Thought leader ads. So basically, just advertising. Your post about some company, and it's just looks organic, but it's still promoted by the company. Those type of things are working really well because people buy from people.
Yeah.
Um,
Or is that a newer thing?
that's a newer thing. Like, yeah, it's newer. Last half of 2023.
Cool. And if anybody's wondering if I'm out of the game, I'm so far out of the game. I don't know anything. I just get to interview people, which is great. And are those, you said those are performing well, like just a plain text post that you write?
Text, image, could be video, but it's basically like, all right. So say if I was doing it for my company, I put out a post about ABM or LinkedIn ads,
Yep.
and I see that it does really good organically. And when I say good, maybe it gets like 100 likes, maybe it gets 50 likes.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. As long as it's really targeted to my audience, then I can advertise to the companies I want to advertise to the people I want to advertise to, that post. So I'm not even have to worry about organic anymore.
Got it. And can you do that from a personal page or company page only?
That's from the beauty of that is it's from a personal page.
Sweet.
So I have my profile picture right there. It'll say promoted by B2B Riz under
Yeah.
the title and stuff, but
it's your post. And then is it just anybody that's anybody that is an employee of that account? Like, how do you set that up?
yeah, so it's anyone that's an employee, but you can basically, like, like you're an advisor I'm assuming you're still an advisor for a company. As long as they're listed under your company, you can use them.
Oh, cool. Okay. So that's, wow. All right. And then what about the actual creative?
So for like like a video ad or an image ad, it's not like the thought leader.
Oh, wait, no, don't answer that one yet. Rewind. So if you do something like that, an ad, like LinkedIn ad, where you're just trying to drive awareness, you just want to get them to read content. How do you know if that's working? How does that get measured through? Do you break this all up into steps and you're trying to pass Tim through a particular journey? How does it all tie together?
Yeah, I mean, so you do want to add in retargeting, right? So if someone clicks on that, whether they click on the website or not, you can still do image click from the actual post. Ideally, you're adding them to like another retargeting bucket or an audience that has a different.
So you're assuming that they've seen that first ad, clicked on it. You're going to send them a next one that would be like a next step of some kind.
Yeah. I mean, you want to build that up. It doesn't have to be just a demo call to action right there, but you want to build that up. But ideally, that educational piece is just one part of the advertising strategy. So I don't think funnels really work. You do want to move people like through like a retargeting thing, or to like, ideally that'd be amazing if there was a funnel that actually worked. I just don't think that really works like that.
Yeah.
But you do want to have education. Then you can also have, all right, here's our unique value prop. Here's our features. Like, you want to have different messaging that all comes together when you're targeting someone.
Which types of companies do well with LinkedIn ads? And then what are they? What I'm trying to get at and why I'm asking these questions is like, I feel like the content and the offer matters so much. And obviously having the right product for the right audience, but I'm always interested in hearing like what actually works.
Yeah. So you mentioned like what companies. I mean, if you're marketing sales, that's a no-brainer. They're very, very active on LinkedIn. But I would also say probably 75% of companies or audiences are still on LinkedIn. Maybe not as much. HR, they're definitely on LinkedIn. IT, cybersecurity, they're all on LinkedIn. Maybe if you're targeting 10 employee HVAC companies, not a good place. But for the most part, it's definitely the place where your buyers are. And in terms of, what is actually working, so one thing that, some people do hate, I will say it does work if you have the right process set up, is those gift cards. But as long as you lead with the value prop of your company, and then the gift cards, the tailing part. So you don't lead with the gift card, you lead with the value prop, the intro of the call or the demo, and the gift card could be the thing that pushes them over. Other things that work, like I mentioned, like the thought leader ads, and then you build up that awareness, and then in the retargeting, you basically build up, demand generation through the retargeting bucket, and then that's where you'd have like a demo call to action, or like messaging that's like, all right, set up your account in 7 minutes or less, or something like that, where it's like speed. Those messages also work pretty well.
What's exciting to you about this next phase, going out on your own?
I like that I'm actually able to just control the whole thing, so I can do it how I want, and to learn through that process. I would also say I'm not trying to scale it. It's also just a lifestyle business, so I can keep creating content, like just building cool stuff. I know everyone says they don't want to scale it. I really don't think I'll scale it or hire people.
Yeah, well, no. The more you scale your business, the less time you're going to have to make content and
Exactly
make videos. So, and there's kind of you're interesting because you can kind of carve out this little niche now. There is you can build a business by creating videos.
Yeah,
like those things
really,
can you can you can have sponsorships, you can do custom like there's a whole world there, which I think is cool. I think the kids call it the creator economy. Tim, is what you're a part of today.
My end state would probably be have a client that I work with LinkedIn ads on, an ABM, but I'm also the influencer. So it's like a MarTech company. And because I used myself when I was at Directive as like the influencer,
right,
for advertising. And
I mean, that would be, so you would be in the creative. That would be sick. That's a great funnel. Then you own the whole thing. That's a great idea.
It works really well too. If you
somebody listening to this, take Tim up on that.
Like that'd be the ideal state, because the amount of things we can come up with is just crazy.
Let me ask you a question. Could I be growing Exit 5 with LinkedIn ads?
Probably. I will say at the course, like if you're not course, Exit 5, you're trying to get like membership. It's a little bit small of a price point where LinkedIn ads might be as fruitful, because it's typically more expensive, but it still works out for many companies.
Interesting. So it's more expensive because you're able to target. Yeah.
It's the only place you can target literally the same right company.
Yeah. So why would I need hundreds of members for this to work? Like, how would you test into this? Like, and I mean, here's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
I think we know which types of companies have, or which types of people are good fits to be members based on, title, industry, all that stuff. I want to keep growing. What we get that comes in. Why not? I can be targeted. I know which good customers look like. Why not spend and go try to make that work? The math is not going to work.
It actually could. Now I think about it, what would do really well for you is I think you've posted about, if I just post about Exit 5, sometimes I get more subscribers, or maybe those new
yes.
Just, you can run a thought leader ad to the right companies. Like we were talking about the thought leader ads, you could sponsor your organic post that did that to the right companies, to the right people, and that'd probably work really well.
Right, but it would have to be. Does the sponsored post have to have is it just that post, or can I have a link? And
so it would be that post. Now it doesn't have like a call to action like the usual link do, but you can still edit your post. So oftentimes I'll edit a post before I advertise to it, and maybe put like a link at the bottom or at the top
Oh, so I could be like, I could take that post that said like, oh, my business grows when I talk about it on LinkedIn more. And I can explain what that business is and maybe have a promo code or something and try running a campaign that way.
Yep. And that helps with the tracking too, because you can put whatever UTM you want on that.
Yeah.
How many people click it.
Interesting. And then how would you go about testing that? Like if I was going to carve out, like, do I say, all right, I'm going to take $2,500, $5,000, $500, 10 grand? How do you think about that?
Typically, I like to look at it based off the audience size. So you can kind of work backwards towards that, because ideally you want to get in front of everyone in that audience size. So let's just say it's 10,000 people. I'm just doing easy math. 10,000 people, and the cost per 1,000 impressions is $100. Work back on how much you need to get in front of each person. Let's just say 5 to 10 times through the month, so you can see if it's viable. You can see what the conversion rate is.
5 to 10 times, just kind of as a benchmark of like how much people would have to see this message before they either respond or ignore it forever.
Yeah, and you can start with like exit 5 retargeting, website retargeting, even as an easier bucket, like where typically they'd be already understand exit 5. They might be easier to convert.
Yeah, cool. All right, I want to help you out real quick. How can people work? Like, you're building this creator business. How can people work with you? What type of interesting things are you doing, or how are you partnering with companies and sponsors, etc.?
So on the creator side, it's usually because I make videos. The video part is interesting because you can also use it in your advertising, or people actually like add me as a person for their company, like add me as like you can call it content creator, advisor, whatever that is, and run ads through it. So if your audience is MarTech or sales tech, that might be a good idea, is to see if we can work together on creating content together, and just leverage those kind of videos. From B2B Riz, just check out b2briz.com and we can see if it would actually make sense to you.
Don't do that. No, don't. Not that many people. We're not trying to break your balance. You just said the wrong thing.
Right.
You said, I'm booked up. You just say this. Let me give you. I'm booked up with clients for B2B Riz. If it's interesting to you, there's a wait list. You can go check it out. Put your name on the wait list, because then you can control like who.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, rewind. I'm booked like a year, but I might make some exceptions if you're the right fit.
But I see people. I think it's going to be interesting here. People are going to continue to hire people like you and like others who are like, hey, go to this. We want you to go to this conference and like make a bunch of content while you're there. I think there's a bunch of interesting things that you're circling around. And I think it's cool. It's cool to hear you say like, you know what? I don't want to scale the business. I want to have enough so I can spend my time creating. That's refreshing to hear. Tim, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Fun to just hang out and chat a little bit, talk shop with you on the Exit 5 podcast. People go to LinkedIn, send Tim a connection request or a follow, whatever it is. Go and like one of his videos. Go check out his stuff. Tim Davidson, good to see you, man. I will see you later.
Thank you.
Exit.